Greensburg, Indiana, number 64, Aaron Kong. A defensive lineman from Greensburg, Indiana, number 66, James Stillings. An offensive guard from Michigan City, Indiana, number 68, Chris Gilchrist. An offensive tackle from Speedway, Indiana, number 70, Andy Wild. Tight end from Philadelphia, Ohio, number 86, Tom Henshaw. A defensive end from Evansville, Indiana, number 90, Kevin Condon. A place kicker from Milan, Indiana, number 92, Jason Gardner. A defensive tackle from Mexico, Indiana, number 95, Matt Golan. And a defensive tackle from Evansville, Indiana, number 99, Mason Werner. And the rest of the Tigers and Coach Nick Baronga in his 17th season at the helm of the Tigers. Please welcome the Wabash College quarterback. This afternoon's weather, considerable cloudiness, cold, no flurries are possible. No accumulation of snow is expected.
Blackstock Stadium in Greencastle, Indiana, on the campus of DePauw University. It is the oldest football rivalry in Indiana. The Monon Bell game is coming your way next.
The 104th Monon Bell Classic is being brought to you by NBD. At NBD, we can do that. By the Indianapolis Association of Wabash Men. By Eastgate Chrysler Plymouth Jeep Eagle, just 500 North Shadeland. We'll do whatever it takes to make a deal with you, whatever it takes. By DePauw University, leadership for a new century. And by the Teachers Credit Union. Experience the reward of belonging with TCU.
Just as the teams were being announced, a snowstorm kicks in at DePauw University, Blackstock Stadium, Greencastle, Indiana. It's the 104th meeting between the Little Giants of Wabash and the DePauw Tigers. As we said, it is indeed the oldest football rivalry in Indiana. These two teams first met in 1890. They've played every year since 1932. You may hear the bell ringing behind me. It's for the Monon Bell. This is the 66th meeting. Charles Arbuckle joins me, as always, on our football telecast here on Indy TV. And Charles, this game, the two teams tied for second place in the conference, but make no mistake about it, this game is for the Monon Bell.
Hey, the bell is what's important. This is the start of rivalry weekend in college football that starts next week. These guys kick it off in an unfathomable fashion. These guys sit back, relax, drink some hot cocoa, and watch us today. This is going to be a great game.
Yeah, the snow has just kicked up, and it's really going to add to the conditions today. They've covered the field, or cleared the field from all the snow, but it's still a little bit muddy. But these conditions should make it interesting. We've seen high-scoring games in this rivalry. We've seen low-scoring games. But one thing is for sure, it will be a great game. Let's talk about some of the players we'll see today. Begin with DePauw, or begin rather with Wabash and their outstanding defensive front four.
Well, their front four hadn't eaten all week, Coach Carlson said. They're ready to play. They're an excellent group, one of the best in Division III college football. They had 28 tackles, 4 sacks last week versus Anderson.
The DePauw Tigers have a powerful offense, and one of the guys that they'll throw the ball to today is Joe Cheshire.
Joe Cheshire has stepped in for Jamie Kahuna, who had a great game last year. They're expecting big things from him. Bernie Haskins has to have time to throw him the ball because he can make big plays.
Well, the DePauw Tigers, the hosts for today's game, won the bell last year at Wabash 31-13. What must Wabash do today, Charles, if the Little Giants are to take it back home?
Well, the Little Giants have to create turnovers, and they must not have turnovers, and that's the key to their good start. They have to have a good start. Last year, they started the game real slow. DePauw must protect Haskins, give him time. If this big 6'6" guy can throw the ball down the field, they need a running game with that.
It's a great rivalry. It has been documented in Sports Illustrated. It's been aired on national television. The 66th Monon Bell game is coming your way next, and the significance is not lost on the quarterbacks of these two teams.
I know we had the bell for 5 consecutive years. you know, it's a hatred that grows over the years. I mean, through, you know, past history and stuff like that.
And now that it's gone, it really seems like there's a lot missing on campus.
It's going to be physical confrontation.
It's very important to not only the football team, but also to the entire campus and student body to get that bell back.
It always gives people, you know, a time to take out their frustration on the opposing team, so it'll be a good game.
The Little Giants of Wabash and the Tigers of DePauw, the 66th annual Monon Bell game. Let's go downstairs to the field for the coin toss.
Okay, guys, big game for everybody. You as captains, I expect leadership. Show leadership on the field, okay? Play hard. Who's our spokesman? Tails calls a tail. It is a tail. Wabash has won the toss. We would like to defer. So Wabash has won the toss and has deferred. They want the ball.
Wabash College has won the toss and deferred a choice for the second half.
As you heard, Wabash won the toss and deferred, so the Little Giants will put their defense on the field first, and Charles psyching DePauw out a little bit maybe there.
Hey, whatever it takes, man. This is a great game. Look at these guys getting out in the middle, the snow coming up. I mean, last year you have all kind of different things happen. This year, snow flurries, snowstorm, rather.
Well, the crews did a great job of getting this field cleared off beginning this morning, but as you can see, just as we came on the air, all of a sudden a blizzard hit, and the conditions will certainly make for an entertaining contest. It's kind of reminiscent of the Fog Bowl of the NFL. As you look at the monitors here, it's very difficult to see.
Well, I think you guys see it at home. We were actually feeling it a few minutes ago in the stand-up. Boy, it's coming down today.
Well, these two teams both enjoying outstanding seasons. Wabash is 6-3, 4-1 in the Indiana Collegiate Athletic Conference. DePauw 7-2 and also 4-1 in the conference. These two teams sharing second place and could have a share of first place if Hanover would happen to be upset by Franklin in this regular season finale today. But as we mentioned, most importantly, this game is for the Monon Bell here at Blackstock Stadium. DePauw won last year, 31-13. Wabash looks to return the favor today, and we're going to go downstairs. A couple of student reporters. We represent the schools with Scott Benedict of Wabash.
What a great day for football. We're here in Greencastle, Indiana, and it is going to be a heck of a day. The snow is falling, and things are flurrying here. It's going to be incredible. We'd like to start by wishing freshman Shane Dunnigan, a Wabash student who was injured in a car wreck earlier this week, the best of luck in his recovery from his injuries. Wabash College is thinking of you. It's been a week of intense anticipation as Wabash College has prepared for this week's 104th Monon Bell game. Normal things such as the chapel period, where we have inspirational speakers, and the freshmen have guarded the campus. It's been a great week. I talked with Sports Information Director Mike Moldy and Jim Amadon, our Director of Public Information, and he said there's a lot of people here that are going to be at the game. So look for the crowd to be a big part. Back up to you in the booth.
Well, and we'll represent both sides with DePauw representative, student Drew Powell. Drew?
Yeah, fellas, hey, there's no place I'd rather be than here in the snow at Blackstock Stadium. This has got to be one of the best football games since the game was created. Hey, you Division I guys can have all your Rose Bowls, but I'm here to tell you that it's all about the Monon Bell game here in Greencastle, Indiana. Back to you guys.
That's what I like, Charles. Youthful exuberance. And he's talking about the Rose Bowl. That's your neck of the woods, UCLA Bruin.
Well, this is a great rivalry, but 105,000, I don't know. The thing is, this bell is so important to these people. Probably 7,500 if it fills up, and this crowd is going to be excellent.
Well, as you can see, the field is now covered with the snow that has just begun falling in the last 10 minutes. John Lubash will kick for Wabash. So DePauw's offense, the high-powered offense that it is, will get a first crack at this ball game today. Sean Johnson and Joe Rogowski deep for the Tigers. In 103 meetings, there's only 2 victories that separate these two teams, and the 66th Monon Bell is now underway. The ball fielded at the 15. The offensive lineup for the DePauw Tigers, led by the quarterback, Bernie Haskins, third on the career list in passing yards at over 4,600 yards. The guys up front, Kelly, Wise, Minshawi, Bernhardt, Gilchrist, and Carter. Bernhardt is the center. He is a good one. John Clippinger at one wide receiver. Joe Cheshire, we talked about him in the open with 44 catches. And the running back, Jacob Simmons, and David Schubert, the fullback. 3 wideouts for DePauw's initial snap of the game. David Schubert handles it the first time, and as you can see, the footing is quite questionable out there here in the early going. Here's that front 4 we talked about of Wabash. Good ones, Wade Thaxton and Jake Gilbert, the defensive tackles, with Dan Lackman and Chet Kraft, the defensive ends. Wilhelm Rose and Keenan Blanchard are the linebackers, with Casper, Case, McCarty, and King in the secondary. Again, the handoff straight up the gut. Schubert carries it for the second time.
Kind of similar to what we saw last year. DePauw's going to spread the field, put Schubert in the backfield, split out Jacob Simmons as a receiver to try to make this defense become even so they can get some running going, because with the field conditions the way they are, you can't throw the ball a whole lot. You got to be able to run it and get the set up to pass.
Well, and DePauw would like to throw the football, so these conditions, we'll see how that changes the game plan, because 10 minutes before we came on the air, the sun was shining, and all of a sudden it has definitely changed. The third down situation, and it's a pass over here on the near sideline, intended for Joe Cheshire, is incomplete. It'll bring up 4th down and a punting situation for the Tigers. Matt Holloway will come on to punt. Holloway, quite an interesting story in his own right.
Yes, he had a situation in January 5th of '91. His mother was in a car accident, and she passed away 8 months after that. He also had a tumor diagnosed around the same time of her accident, so it's been tough for him, but he's done a great job this year punting the ball.
Well, just one of the great stories in athletics, whether it's high school, college, or professional. So many of these athletes face adversity and use athletics as a bit of an inspiration to return. There's the man that will handle the quarterbacking chores for Wabash, Brandon Armstrong. And then the men up front that will be handling the blocking chores. Wes Hunt is the center, with Mowdy and McHugh the guards. Brar and Sitzman are the tackles, and there's the backs. Jamie Bowers, the H-back. We'll call his name out a lot tonight. J.D. Flynn, Frank Surge, and the tight end is Mike Segura. The football on the Wabash 28, 1st and 10. The Little Giants' first possession of the game. Running here to the near sideline was Chris Stewart, and the defensive front for the DePauw Tigers. Nathan Werner and Io George are the tackles, with Dan Thompson and Kevin Condict the ends. And there's a look at the linebackers: McPherson, Lewis, and Johnson, with the secondary, Brian Sheffret and Patrick Winery the corners. John Sechrist and Josh Johnson are the safeties. Stewart picked up 6 on his first gain. It'll be 2nd down and 4. And Wabash looking to put the ball in the air, and it's a completed pass to Jamie Bowers, and Bowers has coughed it up. DePauw has recovered. Just as we talked about in the open, Charles, Wabash had problems holding on to the football last year, and that was one of the keys today.
Well, they struggled with the snap. The quarterback, Anderson, does a good job of stepping up into the pocket, finds his tight end in the middle of the field. Bowers, the H-back, gets down the field, but great strip right there by the defender. Coming over making a good play. Austin Johnson comes up with the tomahawk strip, does an excellent job of dislodging the ball from Jamie Bowers after a nice pickup.
Matt Cunningham on the recovery, and there's already a turnover here in the early going. DePauw at its own 38-yard line. David Schubert handling the football again for DePauw. DePauw has been very conservative in its attack so far, running the ball up the middle and offering up one pass on third down that fell incomplete.
Well, what you have to do, Vince, you have to be a little conservative. You have to also open up your offense like we saw Wabash. But when you get a chance to get in the open field, you must protect the ball today because it is very slick with the snow, ice, and the dirt, or the mud that you have accumulated from last night.
Schubert picked up 4. There's a look at the junior from Coatesville, Indiana. Haskins to throw the football, and it's incomplete, intended for Joe Cheshire. Kim King on the defense to break up the pass.
Well, here you're going to see a nice pass, a little bit high from Haskins. Cheshire goes up, but great defensive play by Chet Casper.
Yeah, that was Chet Casper that came over at his corner spot to knock it over, and those two corners, King and Casper, will get a lot of work today, whether it's defending the run or the pass.
He only has 2 interceptions this year, Casper, but has 10 passes broken up, 11 right there with that play.
2 backs in the backfield, 3 wideouts. Haskins to throw it again, and this time it's knocked down at the line of scrimmage and intercepted. Chet Kraft has picked it off for Wabash. The first interception of the season for Kraft comes at a big time, the senior from Northridge High School.
Kraft has a school record 13.5 sacks. He doesn't get to the quarterback, but right here, I think he makes the play. Great block right there by Dan Lackett. The ball pops up, and Kraft is able to intercept it. Said these guys haven't eaten all week. They really want some food today.
Ball marked at the 40 of DePauw, so Wabash in Tiger territory on first down. Each team has turned it over once, and a big hit. Nathan Warner from Evansville making the stop, and Wabash had no running room there. In fact, losing a couple of yards on the play.
Here you're going to see right here, Nate Warner just get by. It's a cross block by the lineman. They don't get to their assignment, and Nate Warner does a great job right there getting in on Ken Seisman. This is one of the things that Coach Carlson talked about Seisman. He's better when a guy is on him as opposed to going on air, going to a linebacker or picking up blocks like that where the man, he has to go to him a few steps. He's not as good, and you saw right there, Nate Warner taking advantage of that matchup.
You saw the Monon Bell currently resting on the DePauw sideline. 2nd and 15. Over towards the far sideline. Pass incomplete, intended for Frank Surge. We'll bring up 3rd and long for Wabash. Each team has a turnover, but so far neither has been able to take advantage. There's a look at Brad Armstrong. He's gone 3 straight games without an interception after getting off to a little bit of a shaky start. And the delayed draw going nowhere. The DePauw defense read it perfectly, and it will bring up 4th down. Excuse me, Charles?
They were not fooled at all right there by the draw. Safe play for Wabash because they don't want to create any more turnovers. Give the ball deep in DePauw's end of the field.
Mike Wilhelm to punt. John Sechrist, one of those deep for DePauw. The Tigers are going to let it bounce out of bounds. No chance risking a return in these conditions. You never know which way the ball's going to bounce or whether your footing's going to be there when you reach down to pick it up. There's a look at the head coach of the Wabash Little Giants, Greg Carlson, in his 15th year. Can't tell if that's actually Greg or not, Charles. I don't think it is it?
Oh, Greg has all white hair.
Nope, Greg's the blonde. Our monitors, it's snowing so hard, it's hard to tell on our monitors whether that's actually Greg or not, but we can tell you that Greg is in his 15th season at the helm of the Little Giants. He's the second winningest coach in Wabash history. He's done a great job with this football program. Bernie Haskins nearly picked off, and it was Chet Casper again on the defense.
Had Casper been looking at the ball, he would have had an interception here, Vince. He was looking at the receiver. Here you're going to see on the replay, Haskins drops back. He looks right where he's throwing the ball. Casper comes up and just at the last second tries to get his head in there. Had he been looking at the ball previously of the quarterback, he does his assignment right, watching the receiver. But at the last minute, he looks up and almost comes up with an interception.
2nd and 10 from the 15. Very little running room. Jonathan Stiegel carrying the football, and Stiegel's an interesting story, leading scorer on the team with 9 touchdowns, but he broke a bone in his leg and missed 3 straight games here late in the season, but getting some action this afternoon.
Well, he is the man that can make things happen for DePauw. He has all their all-purpose yards. He's the all-purpose yard leader, catches the ball well out of the backfield, and runs the ball pretty effectively when they need him to.
Picked up about 1.5 yards, maybe 2. They're calling officially 3rd and 8. Haskins on the roll, has a little bit of running room, but shy of the first down marker over on the far sideline. Matt Rose was over to make sure that Haskins couldn't reach the first down marker. And there's a look at the head man of the DePauw Tigers, Nick Barozas, in his 17th season. He too has enjoyed great success at the helm of his program. He's the winningest coach in DePauw history. 102 victories, got that 100th win earlier this season.
He was the ICAC Coach of the Year last year, so he's done a great job with this DePauw team, putting it together, really coming after this bell once again, holding on to it rather.
There you see a clip called against DePauw will be declined, and that'll bring up 4th down. George Plesick, the referee today. Don Rusk, the umpire. Larry Good, the linesman. John Goss is the line judge. Terry Blay, the field judge. And Jeff Simmons, the back judge. Holloway gets off a great kick. And terrific punt coverage. Chet Casper on the punt return had absolutely nowhere to go. Terrific coverage for the Tigers on special teams. So Wabash will now get the ball at its own 25. So far, neither team has put a real offensive threat together, and 8:30 remains in the first quarter. Blowers, the H-back, joins Chris Stewart in the backfield. Blowers carries the football and picks up a yard or 2 at best.
Jamie Bowers will get a few carries to keep the defense honest. He has 8 carries for 47 yards this year. He's more of a receiving threat and a blocking guy, one of the best blockers on this Wabash Little Giants offense.
Each team has turned it over once, and turnovers were a big story for both of these clubs. A year ago, DePauw really took advantage and had the big positive number in the turnover category. This season, the Tigers just +2 in turnovers, while Wabash has turned it around and The Little Giants are plus 14. Armstrong looks to throw the football. A man in the middle of the field is the tight end Mike Segura, and the pass incomplete. Segura took a pretty good hit at the end of that play. Let's go downstairs to Drew Powell and check on those field conditions. Drew?
Yeah, Vince, I was talking to Josh Johnson, one of the starting safeties, and he said, boy, not only is it slick, but the mud underneath is really it's hard for them to get their footing. So look for that to be a factor throughout the day. Back to you.
Like running in sand out there at this point with the mud underneath the snow, so it's slippery on top and then really difficult to maneuver in once you get to the muddy surface.
And also the NCAA has requirements on how long the cleats can be. I don't think they're as long as in the pro game, so you can't get the long stems on there and really grab the ground like you need to.
Chris Stewart carrying the football. Back to the original line of scrimmage, and that's about it. It'll bring up 4th down as DePauw's defense has become a stingy unit once again. And DePauw defensive coordinator Tim Rea, longtime DePauw assistant, got to be pleased with the way his defensive unit has performed so far. Mike Wilhelm deep to punt. And it's blocked. Durio Brown getting in to block the punt. And it's another big special teams play for the Tigers.
Durio Brown with a great block right here. He just gets in, Vince, beats the up back and sticks that hand out right there. Excellent job of blocking the punt.
Recovered at the 11-yard line. Bernie Haskins keeping it himself. Short of the goal line, but it's going to bring up 2nd and short.
And that's the same Durio Brown from Cathedral High School, the 4A class champions last year in the state of Indiana. So he got a great block punt in his first Monon Bell game. Sets them up in perfect position. Special teams are going to really play a key today because the offenses really are going to struggle with the field conditions. But if you can create great field position with block punts and things of that nature, this will put Bernie Haskins in a great position.
From the 3-yard line, 2nd down. Schubert carries the football, doesn't get there. This Wabash defense has been the rock of its team this season. It has not allowed an opponent to score in the first period all year long, but that is being severely tested at this stage.
Being tested there, and for whom the bell's toll, we will hear bells the rest of the evening with this bell going on like this. You can be assured of that.
3rd down, they lost 3 yards, so now it's from the 6. Haskins to throw the football, and it is caught. Touchdown.
Tyler Kelly with a great catch. That's one of the things we talked about earlier, them needing production out of the tight end. Great sliding catch from Tyler Kelly. I mean, he does an excellent job of getting his body down, slides and catches the ball for a touchdown.
You love to see that from the tight ends, don't you, Charles?
Man,
I know you do.
I get excited. When I see tight ends make big plays, I can't contain it, folks.
Brian Hury for the PAT. It is good. DePauw strikes first. The Tigers, the first team to score on Wabash's defense in the first quarter all season long. Here's the first scorer of the 1997 Monon Bell game, Bernie Haskins, his 13th touchdown pass of the season.
Well, they like to move the tight end, and you see Tyler Kelly going in motion, and he gets down. Look at him, getting under the ball, doing a good job of just picking it up in for 6.
Brian Harry's PAT, and don't take those for granted today, because out there in those conditions, it will all be difficult. The 3-play drive covered 11 yards, and of course, the touchdown pass to Kelly, but it was all set up by the blocked punt of Duriel Brown, the former Cathedral High School standout. And the bell continues to ring as DePauw is on top of Wabash 7-zip.
You can rest assured as DePauw plays better, if they get the better end of this today, it will ring even louder and longer.
The Monon Railroad linked the towns of Greencastle and Crawfordsville, just 27 miles apart. As the kick sails out of bounds and a penalty flag comes down. Back in 1932, the railroad donated a 350-pound bell to this annual rivalry. Oddly enough, the game was a tie in 1932, so neither school was able to take possession of the bell. DePauw won the bell for the first time in 1933, and Wabash countered a year later in 34, and it's been a battle nip and tuck ever since. Wabash leads the all-time series 48-46 with 9 ties.
What's an excellent rivalry, and what's so neat about it, you have all these different other things that go on, but this bell means so much to these guys. For a small school, so much has been made of this rivalry.
The officials still sorting out the out-of-bounds kick, and now evidently they're going to send the teams closer towards midfield.
I don't think the officials can find the yard markers, Vince.
Well, it's very difficult. I was just looking down, having really no idea where on the field they're positioned. We can see just a little bit of the red at midfield where the bell has been painted on the field. But that's about the extent of it. The ball is on the Little Giants 35, 1st and 10 for Wabash. Armstrong over on the far sideline, pass complete. Jamie Bowers, the H-back, his 27th reception of the season. The junior from Warsaw, Indiana.
He's a guy they like to go to. He had a very good game last year. You're going to see just runs a 5-yard out route, beats the defender, makes a nice layout for the ball. Tight ends making some good plays early on here.
Excellent catch.
Good receiver, but Coach Carlson calls him a great blocker. Has the potential to even get better.
Penalty flags down before Wabash could get the ball snapped. 4:28 to play in the first quarter.
We need to talk to the weatherman. They said there's only an inch of snow coming, and it looks like we're going to get more than that today.
It's amazing that 10 minutes before the teams came out to be introduced for this game, there was no snow falling at all. The sun was actually peeking through, and we were talking about what a beautiful day we were having, and all of a sudden we come on the air, the teams are introduced, and the flakes just keep getting bigger and bigger.
You could see them coming from the east, so we knew we were in for something. We were hoping we could get everything done and be inside here before it got to it.
DePauw leading 7-0, still first quarter, under 4.5 minutes to play. 2nd down and 6. Little Giants running it right up the gut. Close to the first down marker. Joe Becker carrying the football. Becker rushed for over 360 yards this season out of the backfield. Suffered a concussion in the opener and also dinged up his foot in the Rose-Hulman game. And so he's been bothered by injuries. Oh, the Rose-Hulman game was a tough one on this Wabash football program. They lost Justin Weinraub, their starting quarterback, and also Pete Logan, an outstanding receiver, due to knee injuries in that Rose-Hulman game. And this time, Becker tries the near sideline and gets nowhere. Josh Johnson, one of those, to make the stop. Here's the replay of Becker trying to get to the outside.
He's trying to read the block right here of Jamie Bowers, who starts outside. You can't see him on the camera, but then he pushes the guy outside, starts inside, pushes him out. By then, it's too late. He doesn't have enough time. The defenders are all getting over there to help out and bring Joe Becker down.
2nd down and 8. 2 wideouts to the top of your screen, 1 down to the bottom, and Armstrong will throw the football again. Going up top, he's got a man. Incomplete, but Jamie Bowers was open.
The key here, Vince, is you use your tight end in these situations when the weather is like this, because he's the closest guy. You have to throw outside. Here's the replay. He's running a seam route, does a good job of releasing down the middle of the field. The ball is thrown out there. He reaches out for it just a little bit further. He would have came up with a nice catch.
So look at Brandon Armstrong last week. Hit on 10 of 25 for 192 yards and a touchdown in the win over Anderson.
We will see that play again because DePauw likes to run 2 deep coverage. When that happens, you can get the tight end down the middle of the field, and he can make some very big plays.
Armstrong to throw it again, and there is your man Bowers.
When you run too deep, you flood the side, one side of the field. You have one tight end running a little drag route. Here you're going to see right here, one tight end, 87, running a drag. He's going to come into your picture, and that holds the linebacker down. It's too deep coverage. If the safety doesn't get up right there, Bowers will come up with big plays all day long.
Nice pass from Armstrong. Put it right on the money that time after throwing the previous pass a little bit too deep. He put that one right where it needed to be. And the big fella, Bowers, 6'4", 230 pounds, and runs a 4.5 40. Pretty good athlete.
He is a very good athlete. Vince had a nice game last year. Even though they lost to this DePauw team, feel like he can make some big plays, blocking and receiving.
Bowers gets the block this time as Becker makes his way towards the 1st down marker near the 20-yard line. So Wabash mounting a drive now.
When you're effective in the passing game, the running game will open up. Whichever one you have to use first gets you going, you use the other one to keep your defense off balance.
Fans still coming into the stadium here at Blackstock Stadium in Greencastle. Good crowd on hand, but some are still making their way. I think they're trying to find it in all this snow. Second down after the 6-yard gain. Becker carries it again. No running room.
Met in the backfield for a loss on the play. Matt Cunningham on the tackle for the
Matt Cunningham makes the hit.
Matt Cunningham on a looks like a run blitz. He just finds an opening.
For John Jewett and Jim
77.
Please report to the
doesn't get a chance. Armand Bra doesn't get a chance to get his hands on him. They're blocking 2 guys on the outside. You see that linebacker flowing underneath.
Thank you.
Somebody has to pick him up. He's not picked up on that play. Great job by Matt Cunningham.
3rd down and 5 for the
3rd down. The final minute of the 1st quarter, and Wabash is going to take a timeout. So a big 3rd down conversion opportunity for the Little Giants, and they want to make sure they have the right play called to do it. 1 minute to play in the 1st in the 66th annual Monon Bell game. This is exactly why a lot of football fans don't like dome stadiums, Charles. You don't get to enjoy the elements.
Well, they're definitely going to enjoy them today. Well, you're going to get snow, a little bit of everything, a little bit of cold, and if you're on the field, some mud also.
Big 3rd down play for Wabash in DePauw territory on 3rd and 5. Here comes the blitz. They give it to Bowers, and he's short of the 1st down. Jamie Bowers comes up about 3 to 4 yards short. It'll bring up 4th down for Wabash. There won't be any field goal opportunities in this condition.
You're kind of in a position where you can't kick the field goal. You got to go for the 1st down.
The play clock down to 10. 4th down and 4 for Wabash. Receivers on the near side. That's the direction Armstrong is looking, and the pass is incomplete. Bowers almost had it, and then as it was tipped out of his hands, Mike Segura dove for it. Almost a little bit of Nebraska, Missouri there.
Man, Bowers goes up for it. Jeez. Try at this ball. Getting pressure, and Armstrong is, but look here. Ooh, if he could, man, he almost comes up with a nice play, but great defense by DePauw. They come up and stick him right when he's getting ready to put that ball in. Doesn't have a chance to bring it in. Great defensive play by the DePauw Tigers.
DePauw takes over now on their own 21 with 8.7 left here in the first. It's been a long first quarter. Hand off to Schubert. Shakes free to the outside. Hit and brought down by Brent McCarty as the first quarter clock expires. And only one team has found the end zone so far in the Monon Bell game. The DePauw Tigers leading 7-0. Well, considering the elements, we're very happy to be inside the press box here at Blackstock Stadium. But even with the window cracked, we can feel the cool air, and an occasional snowflake will fall in on us. And it's great football weather. Your Hoosier Olds family proud to sponsor the 104th meeting between Wabash and DePauw in the Monon Bell Classic. See your Hoosier Olds retailer. Let's go downstairs to our Wabash reporter, Scott Benedict.
I'm here with John Seal, a member of Wabash College's spirit organization called the Sphinx Club. John, how do you see your role in today's game?
Well, it's actually a great privilege. What we do is we try to communicate to those players how many people are behind them. And the Wabash spirit is here today, and our job is to voice that.
That's great. Well, you guys are doing a good job. You're out here bearing the cold. We'll send it back up to you, Vince. Thanks, John.
First play of the second quarter, it'll be 2nd down. And a long 2, the ball on the 30-yard line of DePauw. Trying to run with Schubert to the near sideline, and he's brought down. Mike Wilhelm, one of those there to make the stop. Matt Rose in on the tackle as well.
Wabash's defensive line did a good job here. You're going to see on the replay of adjusting. Bernie Haskins giving the ball. Wilhelm, they had like a little stunt going on. Wilhelm takes on the fullback's block. Does a good job of putting his hands there, coming up with a great tackle.
There's those guys up front, and Jake Gilbert, number 10, the defensive tackle. Honorable mention All-America a year ago, is a key player on this football team. And Wabash jumps offside.
Sometimes you have to take advantage of their aggressiveness, and especially that guy right there, Chet Kraft, 13.5 sacks, a school record. Jake Gilbert is another interesting story. He started a mentoring program, grew up in Indianapolis, didn't know his father, and wanted to help kids out. You're going to see those guys are a little bit over-aggressive.
Yeah, Jake Gilbert, you're talking about his mentoring program, the Walnut Wabash mentoring program. The grade school at Walnut Township. 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders are paired up with some of Jake's teammates on the Wabash Little Giant football team, and provides the youngsters with a good solid role model, and it's made a lot of friends for both the young kids and the big kids. It's been a great program, and it's admirable of Jake Gilbert as a young man himself to start that program after he came here to Wabash from Georgetown. Haskins to throw the football, and it's caught. Tyler Kelly had his knee down when he caught the football, so he's not going to be able to advance it. It'll be short of the first down, but still a nice completion. Tyler, of course, the young man who had the touchdown reception earlier.
Dan Lackman applying pressure. Haskins gets outside, throws the ball right here, puts it down low. The receiver does an excellent job of getting down, scooping it up, but once you do that on the college level, the ball is down where you catch it.
Tyler Kelly's second reception of the day, his 10th on the season. Second down and 4, the ball at the DePauw 40. Cheshire in motion. Ryan Law over towards the far sideline, close to a DePauw first down. Let's see, did he move the chains? I believe so. First down for DePauw.
Law shows great speed right there, getting outside. That's one of the few times that they've been able to get outside right here. You're going to see coming from behind the play. Good blocking by the line. Stepping over, making sure that they keep this defensive unit from getting over to him. Chet Kraft still does get over there, but not until Law picks up the first down.
Schubert had a nice block. And DePauw goes right back up the middle again. Dan Lackman got a hand on him to bring down the ball carrier. It'll bring up second down. Again, Law, the ball carrier. DePauw has had some great success over the past 2 years. Of course, the Tigers were conference champions a year ago and enjoying a fine 7-2 season this year. The Tigers have won 16 of their last 19 games overall. Second and 8 from their own 47. The option. Law shakes a couple of tacklers before being belted down right near the 50-yard line. Wade Thaxton makes the hit.
Here's Law with the pitch. Haskins pitches it to him. Schubert out front. You won't see his block, but he had a nice block right there outside of the camera, allowing Law time to pick up some extra yardage.
Wade Thaxton, 6'2", 245 from New Albany, put the hit on Ryan Law. Look at Law's numbers this season. Third and 4 for DePauw, trying to get into Wabash territory. Haskins looks to throw, and they go to the screen on the reverse side, and it's Law on the reception, and he's got the first down. Well, taking advantage of some of this slippery footing by swinging it back the other direction here, Charles.
Well, it also slows the defense down. You know those guys like to come and rush. Good play. I like how it's set up. Haskins looks one way and throws it back to Law, but watch this block right here on Thaxton. Whoa. Number 60, Oman Minshawi, does a good job right there.
Ball marked at the Wabash 41, first and 10. DePauw's got a nice drive working. 2 wideouts and a man in the slot. Penalty flags are down. Jake Gilbert was offside. The pass went ahead and threw the pass downfield, but it was knocked away incomplete. Jake Gilbert jumped, so it'll be 5 yards against Wabash.
When you have a defensive front like Wabash, those guys want to really get after the quarterback. You're going to see they're anticipating the snap. And Haskins does a good job when he sees Gilbert cross the line. If they have some kind of key where he hits the center and lets him know, hey, snap it to me.
Wabash wants a timeout. Early stages of the second quarter, 11-11 to play. DePauw still leading the Monon Bell game. Let's go downstairs to our DePauw student reporter, Drew Powell. Drew?
Yeah, thanks. I'm standing here with a couple of distinguished alumni, some fellas that have played in this big game before. This is John Jewett and Jim Minahan. John, how many games have you been to now?
I think this is the 68th that I've attended.
And have you ever seen so much snow?
Never seen it snow during the game.
And Jim, how about you? Jim, you play quarterback here, and you've seen a lot of games in your time. How does this one compare?
Well, I've never seen the snow, but everything else. Mud, sleet, rain, no snow.
That's right. And so after all these years, what does this game still mean to you guys? You first.
Well, it's a fabulous game. It always has been. It gets better every year, I think. This is a wonderful game today.
And Jim?
Well, I haven't missed one since I played, which was 63. So what does that tell you?
All right, back to you, Vince.
Nice job, Drew. A great rivalry indeed, the Monon Bell Classic. If you played in it, you always want to come back and see it unfold before your eyes again. David Schubert on that previous carry. 2nd down and 5 for DePauw. Haskins looking to throw the football. He's got a man open. It's Cheshire, but he would have had to have been 7'4" to pull that one in, and no Rick Smith's lookalikes out there today.
Haskins has struggled a little bit this year. Last year he had, like I said, Kahuna and Pettigrew as his receivers. Kahuna, the wide receiver, put up a big game in this Monon Bell game last year, and Jay Pettigrew, who was the tight end, who had a shot with the Green Bay Packers. And he's missing those guys. He has 12 touchdowns, but he has 16 interceptions this year.
Haskins has been solid, 17 and 5 as the DePauw starter. And those are pretty good numbers from your quarterback. Even if the touchdown to interception ratio hasn't worked out quite like he would hope. Pass incomplete over on the far sideline. John Clippinger, the senior from North Central High School, the intended target. You know, you can look at those numbers, 12 touchdowns and 16 interceptions, but what it all comes down to, and coaches will tell you, just win, baby, just win.
That's all that matters right here. This was a nice pass by Haskins to Kleppinger. Kleppinger reaches out for it, can't quite put his hands on it, has another shot at it, but can't come up with the grab.
Matt Holloway to punt. Chet Casper deep for Wabash. Holloway standing at about the midfield stripe. Gets a good punt, but you can see the Wabash players just want to get away from it. Don't even try to field it in this condition here today. The snow has been falling for about an hour solid, and when this game began, the field was clear, and it was pretty green grass, a little bit of mud out there, and a nice red bell right out in the middle. But as you can see, that's all for naught at this point.
We can say we witnessed the first game with the snowstorm, Vince, right here live.
Well, this is a game that maybe many fans of the Packers have witnessed over the years, and of course the Packers are in Indianapolis this weekend to play the Colts in much more comfortable conditions than this.
72 degrees.
Chris Stewart carrying the football for Wabash, moving it up from the 7-yard line across the 10 near the 15. Picked up 5 on the play. They'll call it 2nd and 5. 10 minutes to play, second quarter.
Good blocking once again by the line. Stewart getting in there. Ooh, Frank Surge a little shaken up on that play because as he's blocking, the defender sees the running back comes up and he just kind of pushes him over the pile.
Got a snow plow out working the field now. While they're on one end of the field playing football, they got the plow working on the other. It's something unique. Not seen that in a football game before. Since the old, what game was that? The Patriots game years ago that they came out and cleared the field just enough for the place kicker to get out and have a dry spot to kick the ball.
I told you people at home, sit back, relax, drink some hot cocoa, and enjoy this game today, because you're going to see it all. Really what he's trying to do is clear the yard line for the officials, more or less, so they can see, because they kind of lost it. If you don't see the sideline, you won't know where you are.
Third down and a long yard, but a penalty, or excuse me, a timeout is going to be called. The officials want to get together and discuss something here. I'm not sure what the problem might be down on the field.
They may be worried about the the snow plow as well.
You never know what you're going to see. I mean, they are plowing the end zone area as well as the yard line. Now they're making an announcement over the public address. You may have heard that fans are being asked to stop throwing snowballs onto the field, and that is certainly not what we want to see here this afternoon. Let the players determine the outcome, and we don't know how the snowball can certainly injure someone if it would happen to hit them in the eye. On third down and short, the quarterback, Brandon Armstrong, gets the first down and inside. So Wabash 35% on third down conversions this season, just bettered the percentage a little bit right there.
Quarterback sneak right here, Brandon Armstrong. Man, he finds a nice hole. Just picks up some good yardage here. This guy's done an excellent job filling in for Weinrob. You know, when you lose a quarterback with that experience, you need somebody to step up, and Brandon Armstrong, a junior from Lafayette Harrison, does a great job this year for the Little Giants.
First and 10 from the Wabash 30. The officials wiping off the ball, and the quarterback Armstrong dries his hands off quickly as well. The clock is running again. 4 wideouts in this formation. Armstrong going deep. It's intercepted. Patrick Wittery on the INT. Frank Surge, the intended receiver, trying to go deep down the sideline, and Wittery had great position.
Well, here you're going to see a straight drop back. The sophomore Wittery out of Naples, Florida. Right here, it's just up for grabs. Both guys have to go up for it. Surge tries to come back, but Wittery does an excellent job of being the receiver.
And go back home to Florida and tell all his friends about the time he intercepted the pass in the driving snow, something those in Naples aren't too familiar with.
I'm sure he hadn't played a game like this on the high school level.
Yeah, not too much snow in Naples.
And it's coming down, but you see the area where they've plowed is even getting more accumulation, so this snow hasn't let up.
Well, turnovers, Charles, we talked about in the open would be something to keep our eye on today, and at that time we anticipated the conditions to be a little bit better, but now turnovers kind of playing a different role.
Well, the one thing Wabash, they wanted to create turnovers and not give them away. They're a plus 14 this year, and they've given up the ball too many times.
A reverse pass knocked away by Mike Wilhelm. They reversed it to Joe Shane, and Shane threw the ball intended deep downfield for John Clippinger, and you'll see Mike Wilhelm come and knock it away.
Well, right here, Joe Shane sets up to throw the ball, and it's out there, but he's well defended, Clippinger is, by 3 Wabash players. Right there, Wilhelm gets up there and just knocks it away, because Clippinger almost came up with it.
Yeah, Clippinger might have caught that ball if Wilhelm wouldn't have come and knocked it from his hands. Ball on the 33, 2nd and 10. Haskins keeps it himself this time, and the big quarterback is driven to the ground near the first down marker, and again it's Wilhelm over to make the stop. Haskins, a big target for a tackler, 6'6", 220 pounds from Elkhart.
Right here, just a naked bootleg, fakes it right there, to Jacob Simmons and comes around, outplays the defense, but watch his hit by Wilhelm. Great hit by putting the face mask right in there in the numbers and just wrapping up.
Haskins' numbers on the ground today. 3rd and short. They'll call it 2 for the first. DePauw has to take a timeout. Evidently, the Tigers saw a defensive look they didn't like. And now the Tigers will talk it over. 7:08 to play in the first half. Still, DePauw's lone touchdown is the difference. The bell is ringing here in Greencastle, and the DePauw Tigers wearing the smiles at this point, leading 7-0. But a big 3rd down play here for DePauw. The pitch to the right side. Jacob Simmons, I believe, has been stopped shy of the first down marker. Picked up about a yard. It'll still leave 4th down and a yard and a half for the first. And the punt unit will come on for DePauw. Well, a big stop there from the Wabash defensive unit on 3rd and short.
Jacob Simmons, his nickname is Wiggle, but he couldn't wiggle out of that grass for the first down. Wabash has done a great job of being in a position where they could have given up some more points or letting this DePauw team get up on them. The defense has held today, and it's really been crucial for them to do that.
Matt Holloway fields the nice snap and boots it to Casper. Calls for a fair catch. It bounces off his chest, but then he covers it quickly. And Casper is slow to get up. You know, he landed right on the ball, and then the DePauw player landed right on top of him. Might have knocked the wind out of him.
Right there, you're going to see Casper muff the punt, and he's laying right on the ball.
Josh Johnson put the lick on him, and Casper hobbles off to the sideline. And here comes Brandon Armstrong back for Wabash, trying to get his Little Giants in the end zone. Last year in this Monon Bell game, he came on in relief of Justin Weinraub and completed 8 of 13 for 111 yards, but it was too little too late as Wabash fell behind early 17-0 and could never recover. Penalty flags are down. There was movement in the Wabash backfield. We'll set up a 1st and 15 for the Little Giants. Well, I give the fans credit. They have hung around. In fact, a few people still making their way in to the stadium, but many just trying to stay warm, and a lot of headgear being used here this afternoon.
Blankets, headgear, everything, and they're staying real close together to keep warm.
Well, the college kids like that anyway.
Well, some parents out there doing the same thing.
What a great rivalry. And this is the kind of game that's good for college football, regardless of whether it's Division III, Division I, 1AA. It matters not. Just that the rivalry continues, and a loose ball in the backfield as Joe Becker dropped it initially on the pitch and finally scoops it back up. Maybe to the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 3rd and long.
Had Becker not dropped the ball, he may have had a big game. Right here at the bottom of your screen, watch the blocking here. Becker drops the ball, doesn't really look it in, and he has time to pick it up and still pick up almost a yard or two.
Make it 2nd down, not 3rd down. 2nd and 15. The ball on Wabash's own 19-yard line. There's big I.O. George, number 78, the defensive lineman for DePauw, right in the middle of the defensive front to try to pressure Wabash quarterback Brandon Armstrong, who completes the pass over here on the near sideline. Corey Bernard from Delphi, Indiana, on the receiving end. Back past the original line of scrimmage at about the 30-yard line, but it'll bring up 3rd down for the Giants.
Good pass protection right there. And what they do is they put two receivers on the side, Jamie Bowers and Corey Bernard, giving Bernard some cushion because Bowers has made some big plays. He catches the ball, turns it up, picks up 10 yards on the play.
There's a look at Bernard. Sophomore receiver. Big third down conversion opportunity here for Wabash from their own 26. Armstrong looking to throw the football again over on the near sideline, intended for Bowers, but incomplete. Fourth down, and the punt unit will come on, and Mike Wilhelm, the punter, will make his way past Brandon Armstrong.
Armstrong really couldn't stick it in there. Bowers was covered pretty well. He tried to get it in that little seam. The ball being the way it is, I'm sure it's heavy, wet, and cold at this point.
Wilhelm stands inside his own 20. Nice snap. That's one thing we haven't talked about here this afternoon, Charles, that really is important, and that is the long snappers on these punts. You don't want to make a mistake on the snap because in these conditions it could be disastrous.
Special teams really played an important point. That is how DePauw got their first touchdown on a block by Durio Brown. So special teams will come into play definitely today as the day goes on.
We'll guess and call it the 38-yard line as Wabash brings its offensive unit to the line of scrimmage. 4:14 to play in the first half. Wabash scored on an 11-yard touchdown pass from, DePauw scored on an 11-yard touchdown pass from Bernie Haskins to Tyler Kelly in the first quarter, and that's all the scoring we've had so far here this afternoon. 5-yard pickup on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 5. There's Nick Morozes, outstanding player in his own right back in the day in Miami of Ohio. Back in the late 50s, was a quarterback on a Mid-American Conference championship team for John Pont, and later an assistant at Indiana under Pont's guidance when the Hoosiers went to the Rose Bowl in '68. Up the middle again goes DePauw on the running attack.
The snow is really coming down, Vince. It stops for a little bit, tapers off, and then it just, the flurries just keep coming down. There you can see the accumulation on the guys' helmets, and look at it right there. Very good picture.
And these conditions make it difficult on everybody, not just the players, but the officials, as there's a penalty flag down on the play. But also the coaches and the coaching staffs alters the way they would attack their opponent. Holding against DePauw. Going to march the Tigers back and make for 2nd and long.
We're very fortunate to be in a good confines here where it's pretty warm and we're able to get a few snowflakes occasionally, but for the most part, we're in a very good position.
Yeah, normally when I broadcast a game, I like to have the window open in the press box. This is one of those days we're glad we can get it shut. Although we have cracked it just a little bit so we can enjoy some of the exterior atmosphere. 2nd and 14, but I'll agree with you, Charles. I think it might be even snowing harder than it has all afternoon at this point, and the flakes just keep getting bigger and bigger. 4 receivers in the formation, a lone running back. Haskins looking to throw the ball, and it's a nice screen, incomplete.
Got a great screen set up right there with Simmons. Just couldn't hang on to the ball. Here you're going to see on the replay, Haskins does the fake, and he comes back around looking for his running back right there. He has blockers out in front. You can pick up some good yardage, but you got to catch the ball first.
Boy, he had a lot of white field in front of him.
He was actually thinking about it before he actually caught the ball. You got to catch it first and then take off with it.
third down conversion numbers for DePauw, 3 of 7, as Haskins looks to throw it again. He's got Cheshire, but it's broken up. Kyle Case, the ICAC Defensive Player of the Week after his performance last week against Anderson. 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery. One of those INTs returned for a touchdown. He breaks up that pass intended for Cheshire. The players trying to keep their hands warm, especially the guys that have to throw it or catch it. It's a real task out there in this cold and snowy condition as Holloway drops back the punt again. Low snap, but he does get off a decent kick. Casper just lets it bounce by him, and it'll be first down for the Wabash Little Giants. Each team just trading punts at this point, and there's not a lot either offense can do in these conditions.
Well, it's so difficult to get your footing, to get a running game going, a passing game. I wouldn't be surprised if Wabash didn't go back to the passing game, especially the middle of the field seam routes with either the H-back, the tight end, or some of the running backs out of the backfield, because that was so effective for them in the first quarter.
And you know the conditions aren't going to get any better. I'm sure they'll try to clear the field at halftime. But as hard as it's snowing, I can't imagine that the field will be clear too long as you look at the run-pass breakdown for Wabash. Armstrong looking to throw. He's got some running room ahead of him here on the near side. Cuts back inside, stays on his feet. That'll be good enough for a first down. Brandon Armstrong, the junior from Lafayette Harrison, picks up a first down on the play. The chains will move, and I think he wanted to throw the ball, but he just had so much room in front of him, and he tucks it under.
He had the receiver, and Bowers does an excellent job of keeping everybody inside, which gives Armstrong an option. You either can run or you can throw it down the field. He sees running room. He had Patrick Wright, I think, down the field. He decided to run, which was a good choice, picking up the first down.
Josh Johnson on the tackle. Ball marked now at the 38. Wabash trying to generate a drive here before halftime and get points on the board to even up this game. Chris Stewart carries, but absolutely no running room. Michael Lewis, the middle linebacker from Kokomo, there to make the stop.
Next by Michael Lewis.
2nd and 10. Of course, a lot of other college football going on around the area today. One up the road in Lafayette, where at last report the Boilermakers were leading Penn State 6-0 in the second quarter.
Purdue having an excellent year this year.
I can't imagine the conditions in West Lafayette would be any different than what we're seeing here, so I'm sure they're battling the elements there as well in what should be a low-scoring game. Over on the far sideline, pass intended for Frank Surge, well over his head, and complete. 3rd and 10.
Surge would have had to be on stilts to catch that ball.
As we look at Brandon Armstrong, it brings us, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, Justin Weinrob, the original starting quarterback for Wabash, averaged 233 yards passing per game, but he wrecked his knee in that game against Rose-Hulman, and his favorite target, Pete Logan, also went out with a knee injury. Logan had started all 33 games of his career, so when you take those two players out of this Wabash lineup, that's quite a blow.
Logan made some excellent grabs last year in the Monon Bell game. I mean, he was just coming up with one-hand catches, jumping over people.
Pass intended for Bowers, but Johnson was there to break it up. Boy, Josh Johnson has made some big plays in the secondary this afternoon.
There's the play we were talking about, that seam route with the tight end against the cover 2 look. You have Bowers there, but Josh Johnson does a good job this time of breaking it up. On the replay, Brandon Armstrong with a nice throw over the middle of the field. Here's Josh Johnson getting there a little early.
Yes, he was.
But like they say, if they don't call it, it's not a penalty.
So on 4th down, Mike Wilhelm drops back the punt. We've not seen one returned yet, and We might see our first return of the day as Sechrist fields it, but slips and falls before he can go anywhere. Looking forward to a return, because once one of these guys gets going, a defensive player might not be able to stop him.
Yeah, once that guy gets his head of steam going, it's going to be very difficult for the defenders to plant and go after him.
A minute 47 to play in the first half. DePauw and Wabash, the 104th meeting, the oldest rivalry in Indiana football. You see the run-pass ratio for the Tigers. And really, considering the conditions, it's not quite as heavy towards the run as you might think. Handoff to the right side. Picks up a couple of yards at best. Jake Gilbert in there to help make the stop, and the Wabash colors flying here in Greencastle. A nice crowd made the short trip over from Crawfordsville, as is always the case for the big Monon Bell Classic. Cheshire split wide out here on the near side. David Schubert, the lone running back behind Haskins on 2nd and 8. Schubert carries the football, a little bit of running room. Dan Lackman, one of those there to help make the stop. Also, Chet Kraft was in there, and the middle linebacker, Matt Rose.
Look at Schubert's face, boy. He's got mud, dirt, everything.
And he's got on the short sleeves, and I'm guessing that's going to be a little bit chilly rolling around in the snow out there this afternoon.
He's got all that snow on the side of his helmet after getting that tackle. Or getting tackled, rather.
3rd and 3. Likely the final play of the third period. Or the second period, rather. Haskins gets it off just in time and then is brought down and sacked. Wade Baxton, his 4th sack of the season.
DePauw was trying to run out the clock, get off a long pass play, but now they have to punt the ball, and you can be assured that the Little Giants are going to come after it.
There's 7.4 seconds left on the clock, but on 4th down, Wabash is going to give this one a good run and try to make this special teams play possibly turn the momentum as we go to the locker room. At least as far as the score momentum is concerned, because neither team has really been able to generate much on either side of the football because of the conditions, but DePauw does lead 7-0. A first quarter touchdown pass to the tight end Tyler Kelly, following a blocked punt, which set up the score. So Matt Holloway and the long snapper Brian Close want to make sure they're perfect here. The snap is good, and Holloway gets the kick away. It will bounce out of bounds, and the clock stops with 0.6 seconds remaining. Just enough time for a quick snap, and that'll do it for the first half. Well, it hasn't exactly been the kind of game we anticipated, and the weather has certainly played the role in the way this game has come off.
The weather has really dictated to both teams what they can and can't do, and it's really not much of anything, you know, with the weather conditions being the way they are, especially the field completely covered in snow now. You have to just keep bearing, going after it.
If you're Wabash here, do you go deep, give it one try for even it up? No, they're going to hand it off up the middle on the draw, and that's Chris Stewart. Picks up about 10, but time expires, and the first half has come to an end. DePauw leading 7-0 over Wabash in the Monon Bell game. Nick Morosis is downstairs with Drew Powell.
Yeah, Coach, you got to like going into the half with a 7-0 lead, but what are you going to have to do in the second half to maintain that?
Well, basically, we just have to win the second half. We just outscore our opponents, and then we're home free. And if there's no scoring, we'll take that also.
How's this snow affecting your guys' game plan here?
Well, there's no question. You have to be able to run the ball on the ground. If you can't run the ball on the ground, you can't move the football in these conditions. It's difficult.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck. Back to you.
Halftime of the Monon Bell Classic, the 66th annual Battle for the Bell. Seven to nothing, DePauw leading Wabash in the Monon Bell Classic. Getting ready for third quarter action, and you can see that the field is the center of attention at this point. After heavy snow during the first half of action, the field was as green as could be when this game was getting ready to get started, but just before kickoff, a big snowstorm came across Greencastle, and all of a sudden the field was covered with snow, and it was quite a chore just to stay on your feet in the first half, and DePauw managed the lone touchdown on a pass to the tight end Tyler Kelly. Let's get the thoughts of Wabash coach Greg Carlson downstairs.
Coach, you're down 7-0 coming at halftime. What is it going to take for Wabash College to come back and win this football game?
Well, obviously, with the field conditions the way they are, there's probably not going to be more than one or two drives that you're going to have a chance to score on in the second half. So we get field position. We got to, it's all, paramount that we score once we get field position and maintain it. Got to start a credible running game, sprinkle in a few play action passes, and hope a couple kids can make a play.
Best of luck to you, Coach.
Thank you, Scott. Scott Benedict, our student reporter from Wabash. And Charles, I think the students have done a nice job. Scott Benedict from Wabash and Drew Powell from DePauw. Thank them for their efforts this afternoon, and interesting comments that Coach Carlson makes about taking advantage of the opportunities, because they're going to be few and far between likely in these conditions.
Yeah, and you don't know how much more snow you're going to get. Each opportunity is very important. I think he understands that they got to get something going with the run game, but you also have to be able to pass. And they have that weapon in Bowers right there. You see running on the field, as well as number 87, Mike Segura, inside, that you have to get the ball to the receivers.
Let's take a look at first half statistics, and the numbers, I'm sure not too indicative of what's taken place today, just simply, again, because of the weather conditions, and we cannot reiterate enough how they have come into play. But you see the statistics are very even. First downs, rushing yards, and total yards, maybe a little more lopsided, but the turnovers have really not come into play, other than the blocked punt. DePauw did block a punt, and that set up the touchdown pass from Bernie Haskins to Tyler Kelly. Take a look at that touchdown pass, and of course it all was set up by the blocked punt from Duriel Brown, but here's the TD strike from Haskins to Kelly.
Well, he just puts it up there for Kelly. Right here, Kelly sliding on the ground, but he's paying attention to where the ball is, comes up with a nice grab.
And the celebration was on, and even, it might turn out to be the only points of this game, and Kelly will always go down in the record books as the young man that scored the big touchdown. As DePauw is now making its way back to the sideline, and remember, Wabash won the toss to start the game, but deferred the kick and put its defense on the field first. So this time we'll see the Wabash offense take possession to start the third quarter, and the field looks much better after some heavy work here at halftime. Two tractors came on the field to clear the yard lines, and now they've got a snowblower out on one end trying to clear off a little bit more of the field.
Not only the field, but the sun looks like it's trying to come back out. It's been doing that all day, peeking out, but the clouds and the snow just keep coming back along and knocking it away.
Well, the snowflakes not near as big as they were in that first half either, so maybe the accumulation is done for the day, and we'll see these two teams be able to put a little more football on the field here in the second half, since the footing will be a little bit better. Bernie Haskins will kickoff for DePauw. So the quarterback handling the kicking chores as well. You see the men deep for Wabash. Chet Casper, number 35. And Brent Graver, number 6. Will get their first crack at it. Three turnovers in the first half, and we'll see if those really come into play here in the second, if either team would happen to take advantage of a turnover that might turn the tide here this afternoon. Remember, DePauw won this meeting a year ago, 31-13, after jumping out to a 17-0 lead. DePauw has only won the Bell twice in the 90s. And of course, last year being one of those. Also captured the Monon Bell in 1990. Wabash a nice string in between. Haskins' kick will bounce and be fielded by Graber. Right up the gut. He's got a little running room towards the 40-yard line, and it'll be good field position for Wabash. And Charles, I think we saw the benefits of the tractors being on the field right away. It gave Wabash's Brent Graver a little extra, more secure footing to run under. 23-yard return.
Caught the ball and just did a good job of getting it up the field. When the defenders are coming down, or the coverage team is coming at you, you got to get up the field. There you see Brandon Armstrong. He was 4 of 12 in the first half, hoping to do a better job with the field cleared out and a little bit of less snow accumulated.
Bowers, the H-back, joins Chris Stewart in the backfield. 3 receivers in this offensive set. Stewart handles the football from the 43. Picks up a couple of yards. It'll bring up second down. They give him 5 on the carry. It'll be 2nd and 5 for Wabash. Initial possession, third quarter.
I really thought Stewart had a chance to break it more to the left. As you can see the camera right now, the left screen, but he really cut it back inside. Picked up some good yards, though.
Near midfield at the 48. Stewart handles the football again. Across midfield, very near a first down.
Much better footing right now. You can see that already. The linemen are able to get out in front and create some holes for Stewart. He just picks and chooses his way. Here you're going to see Segura right there coming off 79. Keeps Ken Seisman, and then look at that block by the H-back. Look, he's just driving this guy back, Bowers.
Wow, great block from Jamie Bowers, the junior from Warsaw. You look at Stewart's numbers on the afternoon. 1st and 10, just enough for the first down, moves the chains. The ball now at the 47 of DePauw. The pitch to Stewart again. Adds 3 yards to his rushing total. It'll be 2nd and 7. Just underway, third quarter.
This is the kind of drive they need. Vince picking up good yards. He has his linemen and his tight end, H-backs, everybody out in front picking up good blocks, giving him running lanes. That's what he needs.
Wabash has not threatened to put points on the board at all this afternoon. And really the only threatening drive of the game was the short drive in which DePauw scored following the blocked punt. Pass over on the far sideline to Frank Surge, who makes the reception. Surge has had a TD catch in his last 3 games, so he'd like to keep that string alive with a scoring catch today.
And he's done a great job with Pete Logan out. He's just really stepped up. 7 touchdowns this year, 48 catches for 797 yards.
The bell rings constantly throughout the game. It remains on the DePauw sideline, and students just walk up and take their turn giving it a ring.
There you can see the sun coming out now. We've had snow, sun. Hopefully we won't have rain.
The fans giving a cheer for the sunshine that is making its appearance. Stewart is belted at the line of scrimmage. Michael Lewis, the linebacker, busts through to knock Lewis to the ground. Knock Stewart to the ground, rather. Great defensive play.
Michael Lewis, middle linebacker, just coming through, untouched. Right here, wham. Good hit. Good hit. Patrick Winery coming up also to help him out there.
Big third down stand as the sun is trying to make an appearance this afternoon. Mike Wilhelm deep to punt for Wabash. Fielded, dropped, picked up, dropped again, and finally covered by John Seacrest. A dangerous play there. Seacrest trying to come up with the football.
He was fortunate there that there was no other, especially Wabash players around, because he was really struggling trying to pick it up. This is where you need that front seven or front four for Wabash to really step up for you.
Let's go down. Excuse me, Charles. Let's go downstairs to Drew Powell on the DePauw sideline.
Yeah, we're here with DePauw's current dean of students and former player Alan Hill. How is this comparing? I mean, I've asked everybody the same question, but you know, for you here now, you're working there, you've played here, you set all kinds of records. Talk a little bit about that.
Man, this is a great day, man. I mean, every Tiger fan around loves this. I mean, the snow, it's been a little different. I've never seen it snow this much during this game, but I tell you what, that 7-0 score is going to hold in, and the Tigers going to come out on top.
You know that, and right here in front of us, we've got the coveted bell, and I wondered if you could give us a ring for us, for ring for old DePauw one time. All right, back to you guys.
We'll be hearing that bell ring in our sleep tonight, Charles. Second down and 9. Haskins with the throw, and it's intercepted. Kyle Case with the pick. Still on his feet.
Oh, man.
What a great grab. 7th interception of the season for Kyle Case, and he backs up last week's big performance with another pick this afternoon.
For a second there, Bernie Haskins had the receiver, but Kyle Case, watch this play here, folks. Great one-handed catch. He needs to be a receiver. Look at him. Tip it back to himself, bring it in. Excellent job by Kyle Case.
Returned it to the 20-yard line, and it's 1st and 10. This is exactly what we were talking about. Turnovers that may turn the momentum and turn the tide today.
If your offense can't do anything, that defense really has to step up. They're very experienced, and you see Kyle Case right there, who's only a freshman. This guy is a very good player.
Armstrong looking to throw the football, and it's caught. The tight end, Mike Segura. Down to the 11-yard line, picks up 9.
Most teams do not have guys like this. Here's Segura, the tight end, who's going to run a bootleg route. Comes across. Armstrong just finds him there. He does a great job of catching. But as I was saying, having two guys like Segura and Bowers, man, it really puts a lot of pressure on your linebackers, because most linebackers can cover, but it's much harder and much more difficult with the field being the way it is.
Wabash now in the red zone. They give it to Becker, the running back. Gets to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. It'll bring up 3rd down and about a yard. Wabash has been inside the opponent's 20, the red zone, 34 times. And the Little Giants have come away with 23 scores. 16 of those have been touchdowns. So almost 50% of their trips into the red zone come away with 6 points.
You need it right here, Vince. I don't know how many more opportunities, like Coach Carlson said, coming into the second half. How many times you're going to get this opportunity?
Wide outs to the left and right. Bowers is the H-back along with Becker. And it looked as though Armstrong coughed up the football. Was it a mishandled snap, Charles? They're trying to unearth the pile now, and DePauw is signaling that the Tigers have recovered, but we've not yet seen the officials indicate it. DePauw football. Well, Charles, I hadn't mentioned that Wabash had turned it over 3 times on their trips to the red zone, so they've added to that total, and that could be a costly mistake.
That really hurts you. Really hurts you right here. You're going to see he's not even really ready for the ball. The center snaps the ball to Armstrong. He's still making the call. Wes Hunt gets the ball up to him a little bit too quick.
An odd occurrence, miscommunication between the center and quarterback on the snap count. So DePauw takes over at the 13-yard line. Simmons carries the football. Not much running room as Dan Lackman was there to knock him to the ground, maybe at the line of scrimmage at best. Bring up 2nd and 10.
DePauw is very fortunate that Wabash is driving, a miscommunication by the center and the quarterback gets them the ball right back. They were very fortunate right there.
Second and 10. Quarterback draw. Haskins knocked to the ground. The ball is loose. But the officials indicate that Haskins was already on the ground. Mike Wilhelm with the big stick. Wow. Wilhelm playing his last game at Wabash, 2-time all-conference player in both football and baseball.
Well, he's been featured in Sports Illustrated, facing the crowd for 2 grand slams in 1 inning, and there's a big hit right there by Wilhelm.
That'll wake you up. 3-year starter. There he is in the center of your screen, number 48. Leading tackler on this club. From Wabash, Indiana, went to high school at Southwood. 3rd and 4 for the Tigers. Haskins looking to throw the ball. They're trying to set up the screen, and it's knocked down, nearly intercepted. Dan Lackman, the big tall defensive end at 6'4", got his hands on it. And it brings up a punting situation for DePauw.
That play worked so well early, but you see the defensive lineman. You got 2 of them right in front of the quarterback. Lackman stays back, kind of spies the running back or receiver, almost comes up with an interception.
Matt Holloway will drop to punt, and Chet Casper is deep for Wabash, standing at about his own 45. Snap a little bit high, but Holloway fields it and gets away an excellent booming kick that Casper has to let go over his head, and will be down at about the 35-yard line. That's where DePauw will take over, or Wabash will take over. 1st and 10 with 7:12 to play in the 3rd. Wabash dodged a bullet after a turnover deep in DePauw territory. The Little Giants defense held the Tigers, and now Wabash's offense is back on the field, but with 65 yards to go to the goal line after turning it over in the red zone. Stewart handles the football again. He's got some running room and carries it out across the 40-yard line. Knocked down by Patrick Winery.
Good blocking once again, Vince. Stewart is not going to break any long plays. Coach Carlson was teasing me on the phone about it. He said the guy doesn't have great speed. He's amazing. He's picked up all these yards, but look at the blocking out there. Containing the front line of DePauw. He gets up, picks up some nice yardage. Won't break any long ones, but has 864 yards on the year and 7 touchdowns, so he's done a very effective job.
Covers that ball with both hands, too. He's not about to cough it up. Bowers back in the backfield. Now he comes up to the line of scrimmage. Stewart handles it again. Across the 45, near the 50. Moves the chains. 1st down, Wabash. And Charles, it's amazing how, since the snow has quit and the field has been plowed, how much better these players are able to secure footing and how much more success the offenses have had.
Well, this is what the Little Giants wanted to get going. They wanted to get their running game going and then sprinkle in some play-action passes, some drop back, just do those different things, and now they're getting an opportunity with the weather changing.
Stewart handles it again. Brought down by Matt McPherson, the junior from Dayton, the team's leading tackler. Sliding in to make the tackle.
Nice play by McPherson, just coming in, wrapping his arms up, getting Stewart down before he can really get a head of steam going.
It's like Michael Lewis shaking up a little bit on the play. You see him in the huddle there. Watch 51, McPherson slice in to make the stop.
That's what linebackers do best, Vince, when they don't get blocked, especially from the middle linebacker position. You have to come up and make the play.
He'll be making plays next year as well. He's just a junior. Nice to have your leading tackler return, eh? Armstrong on the play action. He's got a man downfield, and it is caught.
Nice play by Patrick Wright. Doesn't have a lot of catches this year. 4 receptions for 42 yards, Vince, but right here, good looking down the field by Armstrong. Look at that nice block by Bowers again. But watch this. 2 defenders around him. He goes up and gets the ball.
Nice use of the hands from Wright, the young man from Seeger High School. First down. Wabash, the Little Giants on the move again, now at the 36 of DePauw. Handed up the gut, Stewart handling it again. Pushing forward for a few yards, it'll bring up second down.
I like what Wabash is doing on this drive. You know, you saw a counter fake on that last play to Patrick Wright. They're setting it up, putting the counter in there, then you see the quarterback roll out. You know, they're running the ball effectively now, so they can do those type of things, and it's keeping the Tigers' defense off balance.
The bell never stops ringing. Nick Morozes doesn't mind because that's just a constant reminder that his team is in possession of it. Bowers in motion. Armstrong to throw it again. J.D. Flynn on the receiving end, short of the first down. Well, let's see where they're going to give him a mark here. Well, a favorable mark at about the 25, and that might be enough to move the chain. So Wabash putting together back-to-back first downs. The sun is coming out, and all is right with the world. The officials want to bring on the chains for an official measurement. We talked at halftime with DePauw Athletic Director Paige Cotton about the fact that this is the final game in the Indiana Collegiate Athletic Conference for DePauw University, and next year DePauw will be a member of the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. You see Wabash with the first down, but this Monon Bell series, the rivalry between DePauw and Wabash, will continue.
Oh, they can't let that go, Vince. It's been going on too long. It doesn't matter what conference. These guys for DePauw or Wabash could move out of the country and they'd still have this rivalry going.
The numbers on Armstrong, completing 50% of his passes, although he does have that one interception against his mark. But he's got the Little Giants on the move here. First and 10 from the 25 of DePauw. The quick pitch to Stewart. Cuts it up to the 23-yard line, picks up a couple. What a difference we're seeing out there now in the footing that these players are able to enjoy after what they had to endure in the first half.
I like this play because you put 3 receivers on one side. You get the blocking, and it also, what makes it tough for the defense to know, there you see Michael Lewis with a great tackle, makes the defense wonder, is it going to be pass or run? When they pitch the ball off, you got 2 guys outside blocking for you,
Stewart picking up about 3 or 4 yards.
Well, and you saw Stewart able to cut back upfield, and that's something that just was not able to be done in the first half. Quarterback sack. DePauw's front line with a great surge. Kevin Hare in there to make the stop.
What's so
and the sack.
good about this play is they disguise the blitz and then they bring it. Here you're going to see somebody, the running back doesn't get a chance to get over and hit McPherson, who gets there first, and then an onslaught of DePauw defenders. They don't blitz a lot, but you can see right there they disguised it very well and brought it when they needed to.
The third down numbers for these two teams. Wabash 2 for 9, wants to improve upon that right here on 3rd and 12. Armstrong still looking downfield. He's going to keep it. Oh, big hit. Wow. Woo! That is the Monon Bell Classic.
Oh, man.
How about that hit? Matt Cunningham, the senior, in his last Monon Bell game, introducing himself to Brandon Armstrong.
Armstrong is looking inside the whole time, and here's Cunningham. Boom! Get those pads underneath, put that helmet right in the number.
What a great hit.
What I like is Cunningham just closed the gap so quick right there.
Wabash now with a field goal attempt. John Lubash is on. He's 7 of 12. 3 field goal attempts, and this one is blocked. It's a 43-yard attempt. It's blocked, and DePauw has picked it up and taken it across the 40-yard line.
High snap comes into play right there, Vince. Tempers are flaring up over on the Wabash sideline.
1:06 to play in the third. DePauw has blocked a kick for the second time today. Patrick Winery comes in from the left side of your screen to block this John Lubash field goal attempt.
The wing guy right there has pressure on both ends. One guy inside, one outside. You got to go after the inside guy. Once you do that, Winery gets there because it's a high snap.
Then the ball scooped up and returned to the 39-yard line, and there's Winery over on the sideline getting an extra stretch after blocking that field goal attempt. Nice effort from the sophomore. Winery's had a big game, also had an interception. And now DePauw trying to add to its 7-0 lead. David Schubert carries it to the 44, picks up 5. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Gain of 5, it'll be 2nd and 5 with 5.
At the end of this third quarter, the bell will be removed from behind the DePauw bench, and it'll be taken down to the end zone area and put on display, and then the winning team only will be able to go down and retrieve the bell at the end of the game, and that will save us the melee that we saw at the end of last year's game as Schubert carries the football for a couple of yards, but there were players jumping on the Wabash defensive front. We'll see if this penalty is indeed against the Little Giants.
And if that play stands, Matt Rose is on the tackle. He's had 9 tackles in the first half. He went all over the field today.
– 5 yards offsides against the Little Giants. That's the 4th penalty against Wabash. All have been 5-yarders.
And I'll tell you what it's doing, Vince. It's slowing this defensive front down. They only had 1 sack in the first half. They're not able to come off and tee off on the quarterback Haskins, which is putting them off balance. They have to kind of sit back and wait for the ball to be snapped in order to really get that pass rush going.
The 5-yard penalty gives Wabash a first down, or DePauw a first down rather, and it'll be 1st and 10 from the 44 of Wabash. DePauw now in Little Giant territory. And the final seconds of the third quarter are ticking off. DePauw will let the time run, and the 4th and final period is ahead.
And the third period expired with the score DePauw 7.
The DePauw Tigers lead 7-0. Today's Monon Bell Classic brought to you by the Hoosier Rolls family. See your Hoosier Rolls family retailer. "15 more minutes. DePauw leading Wabash 7-0. Let's go downstairs. Our Wabash sideline reporter, Scott Benedict.
Thank you, Vince. I'm here on the sideline with Wabash College President Andrew Ford. Dr. Ford, tell me about this great tradition. You've been here for a couple of years. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a great tradition. We've been here for 5 years, Scott, if you can believe that or not, how time flies. And it's just one of the best in college football today. It's a rivalry that currently, we've got, 42 sites out there, alumni from all over the country looking at it. It exemplifies Division III football.
Well, this is great, and it should be a good game. Who's going to win?
Well, you know who's going to win. We're just keeping it close so there'll be some excitement in the fourth quarter, that's all. So stay in there and hang in there with us.
Sounds good, Dr. Ford. Back up to you, Vince.
And while we were away, David Schubert with the nice run up the middle, picked up 14 into the Little Giant territory. It's a 34.
Nice little play right here, boy. Good blocking by the line, and Schubert, of course, you can see him getting better footing now and getting it up the field. 10 rushes for 43 yards.
During the break in between quarters, we heard anyway, during the commercial break, the DePauw players on the sideline yelling 15 more minutes. That's what they want to give here this afternoon, leading 7-0. Want to protect that lead and retain property, the property known as the Monon Bell. And as we told you, at the end of the third quarter, the Bell would be transported from behind the DePauw bench to a stand behind the end zone, being heavily guarded. The Bell has been stolen from time to time from its residents at particular schools.
There's been some wild stories about that. The kids dressing up as Arab sheiks to steal the bell. There's been so many different things they've done to get that bell from each other's respective schools.
Jacob Simmons on the carry, short of the first down. Bring up third down situation for DePauw.
And what's so funny about it, I have a friend that played at DePauw, Mike Thomas, who's up in Chicago now, and Darrell Johnson, who went to Wabash. So I hear slanted views on each side.
They're both lying, right? 3rd and 8. Early stages, fourth quarter. Simmons, the lone back. The blitz is coming, and the pass over on the far side to Joe Cheshire, and he's belted down at the line of scrimmage, but a penalty flag comes in. We'll see the indication. The illegal use of the hands against DePauw.
That was a great open field tackle by Chet Casper. Biting off the block, getting after Cheshire before he gets a chance to really get it going.
Mike Wilhelm, the captain, telling George Plesick that Wabash will decline, and that'll bring up 4th down for the Tigers. Punting situation.
It'll be 4th down for the Tigers.
Matt Holloway, the punter, trots on. He's been a busy young man this afternoon. Standing at his own, or at the 45 of Wabash, should be able to pin the Little Giants back in their own territory. But it rolls into the end zone, so the Little Giants will get the ball at their 20. He angled it towards the pylon, but he couldn't quite keep it from rolling across the goal line as his cover men hurried downfield. 13-16 to play in the fourth. The time is working now as an opponent against Wabash. 7-0 ball game, and the only touchdown of the game was a first quarter pass from Bernie Haskins to Tyler Kelly. Set up by a blocked punt. and DePauw has not relinquished the lead. The first half was played on a snow-covered field where neither team was able to generate any kind of offensive drive, but at halftime the field was cleared and the sun has come out, and it's been a much different story.
That's what you have to do to J.D. Flynn. He does a good job of getting yards after catch, yak. But they are not allowing him to get those big plays once he catches the ball today.
Drove him over into the snow on that play, and there's a look at Greg Carlson, the veteran coach of the Little Giants in his 15th year, two-time Coach of the Year in this conference. Won the conference championship outright in 91 and 92, and shared the crown in 1994. Both these coaches have done an excellent job with their programs. Haskins, and it's almost intercepted. Armstrong, rather, nearly picked off by Winery, who was diving in to try to make the pick.
Armstrong is fortunate that he put the ball so low. Here you're going to see on a quick out. Drops back. Three-step drop. When he throws the ball, it's down low for the receiver, but it's a little bit too low for Winery also. Fortunate that he did not get that ball up high. If he had done that, that would have been another interception.
And maybe 6 points. Because Winery definitely had the beat on it. If he could have stayed on his feet, that would have gone the other direction. 3rd and 5 now for Wabash. Good pass protection going up top for Flynn. And he can't bring it in, out of bounds and incomplete. So the Wabash punt unit comes back on the field, and these two teams are going to be tired when it's all said and done, the punt units for these squads. But they've both done a nice job other than that one blocked punt, and that has been the difference. But the long snappers and the punters have done a nice job of not making any mistakes. We've seen the ball get on the ground a couple of times, though, from those trying to receive the kicks, as is the case here. Wabash is indicating that they have received or recovered the punt, as Ryan Law was the punt return man, and DePauw has retained possession. Bouncing off the chest of Ryan Law, this could have been dangerous.
They dodged a major bullet here. It bounces off of his chest. He goes to get it, and it just squirts out. It's right there. Then he tries to bring it in and bounces out on the other side of his body.
The greased pig skin.
But look at it. If it had come out to the right of your screen, all those Wabash defenders right there would have been able to get it. Fortunately for him, it went to the left, and he had his guys there to pick it up for him.
DePauw takes over on their own 47. First and 10, handling the football for DePauw was Jonathan Stiegel.
Both teams are really just grinding it out, trying to get something going on the ground, throwing a few passes here and there. But for the most part, the conditions have really gotten more favorable this second half, because the first half you couldn't even see any green.
Stiegel now split out on the right side, the top of your screen there in the middle, and the receiver on the far side. And Schubert is the lone running back who handles the football. Takes it across the 45. Watch these guys working it down low.
What you have here is Wabash is bringing up guys because they want to put some pressure on the run. And right there, when he gets past the initial line of scrimmage, he's able to run. And so number 55, Matt Rose, gets to him. Matt Rose is one of those guys that's quiet, but he's always around the ball. But Schubert does an excellent job of picking up 9 yards on the play.
DePauw's got to hurry. The play clock is down to 5 seconds, and now Bernie Haskins comes out of the huddle and calls a timeout. We'll take the break as well. 10:39 to play in the game. The Monon Bell Classic. It's a 7-point contest. A muddy field, but it's been a pretty good ball game. 7-0 DePauw once they cleared the snow off, and the teams have enjoyed some better footing here in the second half as we look at some of the other scores from around the state today. Henderson leading Manchester in an ICAC contest. Evansville and Moorhead scoreless in the first. St. Joe leading Butler, that game in the second period. And Penn State on top of Purdue, a good one going in West Lafayette in the third. Third and short. The handoff to Schubert. And this is all going to depend on where they spot it, Charles.
From up here, it looks like the spot is about an inch short of the first down. Although that's just speculation. They moved the ball up just a little bit more, though.
But imagine they're going to bring on the chains here and measure as DePauw tries to keep the clock running with the ground to control attack at this point. But the Tigers don't need any more points. They lead 7-0. They just want to keep Wabash out of the end zone. And a good way to do that is with their own offense on the field. First down, DePauw.
One official came over, and it looked like where he was standing was going to be a spot. The other official on the ball moved it where he thought the spot was and gave him way more than enough for the first down.
Well, it's home field advantage. You got to have a little something, right?
Got to take any advantage you can in this rivalry.
Cheshire split out here on the near side. The lone running back behind Bernie Haskins. Schubert carrying the football again. He's been a workhorse this afternoon. Picks up 4. It'll be second down and 6.
That DePauw offensive line has done a great job of neutralizing the D-line of Wabash. They've really done an excellent job, and also mixing in snap counts that are different in variation. Maybe instead of going on 1, going on 2 and 3, getting them off balance where they can't just tee off has helped this line tremendously today.
The center, Bernie Bernhardt. The guardsmen, Shaw and Chris Gilchrist, and Todd Carter and Andy Wise, the tackles. Quite a task for them this afternoon against that front 4 of Wabash, but they've risen to the occasion as Schubert handles the ball again, picks up a couple of more yards, and it'll bring up third down situation.
What you're starting to see from Wabash to stop this, they're blitzing a lot more than they normally would. They occasionally blitz, but really when they get in this situation where it's 9 minutes on the clock, it really seems like a lot shorter period of time because of the way they haven't been able to control the ball or do anything effectively with the ball.
Third and 3 from the 37 of Wabash. Stigl carries it. He's got the first down. Mike Wilhelm on the tackle, but not before DePauw moves the chains again.
Big play by Stigl.
Keep in mind, this young man had a broken bone in his leg earlier this year that caused him to miss 3 straight games, and he's back out there doing it here in the Monon Bell game.
See Tyler Kelly there with the excellent block, creating some running lane or running room for Jonathan Stigl.
Stigl, a junior from Oxford, Ohio. This time Schubert carrying the football, no running room whatsoever, maybe to the line of scrimmage at best. That Wabash front 4 of Wade Thaxton and Jake Gilbert and Dan Lackman and Chris Kraft at the ends. 107 starts as a unit, including 21 straight today. Now faced with the task of getting the football back from DePauw without the Tigers scoring inside of 8 minutes. The delay to Schubert. And again, very little running room. In fact, his knee slipped down behind the line of scrimmage, so they're going to credit him with a loss on the play. And DePauw will now face a 3rd and 12, 3rd and 11 situation.
Vince, you could see Haskin there really barking out the signals, trying to get those defensive linemen of the Wabash Little Giants offside.
3rd and 11 for the Tigers.
3rd and 11. 4 receivers in the offensive set. Schubert is the lone running back. Haskins play action. Over the middle, it's tipped and intercepted. Keenan Blanchard, the senior from Westfield, with the pick.
And Matt Rose is the one that caused the pick with the tip. The pass deflection. Here you're going to see Haskins with the fake. To his back, David Schubert. And then throws it in there. And Rose is kind of in that spy technique in that area where the quarterback can't see him, allowing Blanchard to pick up the interception.
Blanchard's first pick of the season, the second of the game here for Wabash.
The key to that play is the middle linebacker. He reads the quarterback's eyes. He really doesn't have anybody in coverage responsibility, but he plays the underneath. If somebody comes in his zone, he picks them up. If they don't, he watches where the quarterback is going to go and try to get underneath and tip the ball. Excellent job by Matt Rose.
Yeah, DePauw had run the ball 7 straight times, and then when they decided to throw it, it turns into an interception. Going up top, Brandon Armstrong, pass intended for Frank Surge, incomplete. Surge was asking for a flag as he thought there was some contact down the middle, but wasn't going to get it. Bring up 2nd and 10.
7 out of 25 teams at the regional championship. Tiger Chris Stormo placed 6.
Armstrong throwing the deep post to Surge. The ball is out a little bit too far, and there's really not enough contact there to warrant a pass interference.
The numbers on Armstrong this afternoon. Averages 141 yards per game, so he's got a little bit of work to do, but 6:47 to play. He's got time. Dropping back to throw again. In trouble and sacked. A good surge from the DePauw front line. Andy Wise, one of those in there to make the stop.
We've talked so much about the Wabash Little Giants defense. Look at Dan Thompson just pushing guys back. Also initial pass rush inside. We've talked about the other side defensive front, but these guys from DePauw, man, have really stepped it up. Dan Thompson, 6'2", 220-pound junior out of Danville.
Io George in there as well on that play. 3rd and 19. Armstrong going up top again. This one is incomplete, batted down. Is that Winery over there again? Or no, that time it was John Seacrest. Well, the secondary's done a nice job for DePauw today at covering their receivers and defending the pass.
They shut them down. They have really shut them down, Vince.
Ryan John Seacrest at the 50-yard line for the Tigers.
Good play right there. But really, you think about it, Wabash has to pass. DePauw knows that. They put the guys in a position to say, hey, you get back here and you stop them.
Seacrest fields the punt in Wabash territory, lunges across the 45-yard line, and with 5:41 to play, we'll take a break, and DePauw will have the football again, protecting a 7-point lead. 5:41 to play. Wabash's defense asked to make the stand again as DePauw's offensive unit is back on the field, protecting a 7-point lead with 5:41 to play here in the 4th. The DePauw band providing some encouragement.
I've never seen so many fans just milling around down in front of the stands before, Charles, but everybody seems to be having a good time today, and that's what it's all about.
Same way last year, it wasn't as cold. I think a lot of them are staying up, moving around to keep warm.
Schubert, he's been a regular carrier of the ball this afternoon for DePauw, and he handles it this time. Maybe a yard at best. It'll bring up second down.
Lackman doesn't make the tackle right there, but by his defensive penetration, forces Schubert back inside. Allows his buddies to make a good tackle.
The bell is being well guarded. The winner, if it's Wabash, well, they get a ticket home to Crawfordsville. If it's DePauw, it stays right here in Greencastle. Schubert carries it again, a penalty flag down in the backfield, and that most often is holding against the offensive team. We'll see if the officials do indeed make that call, and George Plasick says yes, it is holding against DePauw.
What DePauw is doing also is letting the game clock tick down to about 1 second, allowing the time to tick off as much as possible. Make that the 25-second clock.
Let's go downstairs to our student reporter from DePauw, Drew Powell.
Yeah, fellas. What we've got down here on defense, I was talking to some of the boys, and what they're doing is they're moving the forward linebackers, but they say they're going to switch towards the end of the quarter because they're going to air it out. So look for that change as this Monon Bell game comes to a close. Back to you guys.
Well, once Wabash's offense gets back on the field, we'll certainly look for DePauw to maybe make that switch defensively, and as Drew mentioned, Wabash is going to have to become a little bit more adventuresome offensively to erase the 7-0 lead. But right now it's DePauw's offense in control, and Haskins is on the move. Run out of bounds near midfield, just over into Wabash territory, but well short of the first down. We'll bring up third down, and still about 13 facing the DePauw offensive unit. Of course, going out of bounds stops the clock as well at 4:21. And there's what DePauw has done with their offensive plays. 50 snaps today, and no surprise, the majority of them have stayed on the ground. Maybe coming into this game, they would have liked to throw the ball a little bit more, but considering the conditions in the first half when the two teams were just lucky to hold on to the ball because of all the snow, they had to run it as Cheshire hauls in another reception. Cheshire had a 17-yard touchdown last week against Benedictine, and although he hasn't found the end zone yet today, he has come up with several good catches.
What you see right here, Vince, is this quick slant. Gets inside, but I don't think they really anticipated getting the first down. They wanted to, but what it does is put your punter, Holloway, in a position where he can kick the ball and pin you inside your 10-yard line.
See if Wabash comes after him. They do, but the kick is away cleanly. Holloway. Oh, it hits one of the Wabash players. And I believe the Little Giants have recovered it. Charles, that bounced off one of the Wabash punt return men as he was trying to get away from it. That might have been Matt Clark, the sophomore from Ben Davis.
The Wabash player, the ball was recovered by the Little Giants.
That had the ball bounce off of him, but Wabash was able to recover.
Wabash dodges a major bullet there, Vince.
See if we can see it if we have I don't know if we have the replay or not. We're not going to be able to look at the replay, but as you said, Charles, Wabash really dodging the bullet. Now at least the offense gets to come back on the field.
But the offense has been so ineffective today, they haven't been able to stop this DePauw four-man front and really get anything going in the passing or the running game.
Stewart, the lone running back behind Armstrong. Looking to throw the football. He's got a man in Bowers, but it's intercepted. It's Patrick Wintery. Slides down inside the 20. His second interception of the game.
They kept testing him, Vince, kept going at him. The ball is thrown up by Armstrong, not far enough to Bowers. But watch Wintery come over. The mistake that Bowers makes right there is he doesn't go at the height of the ball. He kind of waits for it to come to him. And Wintery, excellent plays today. He's really been on the ball today, Vince.
Just a sophomore, and he's delivered with a couple of huge defensive plays today.
And I don't think he had any interceptions all year. Picks up 2 in the Monon Bell game.
Haskins keeping it himself on the naked bootleg. He's got some running room. Leaps over. Touchdown.
Haskins goes airborne.
When you're 6'6", you can really stretch it out towards the goal line. The naked bootleg. 19-yard touchdown, Bernie Haskins. And with 3:08 to play, DePauw now in command. Wow, what a great play from the senior quarterback. The naked bootleg, and he got close to the end zone, and he knew what he had to do, and that was spread himself out and go for it. Brian Hury on for the PAT. 12 of 14 this year, and he boots this one through successfully. 14-0, DePauw. And there's the man that may have just put this one out of reach. Bernie Haskins from Elkhart. Last year he passed for a career-high 394 yards in the Monon Bell game. And watching this time go up in the air and over.
And he goes airborne. Oh, man.
Touchdown. What a great feeling it is for the DePauw Tigers and their fans here today.
And this puts Wabash in a tough position because they haven't been able to do much all day offensively. And now having to come back from 2 scores down. But stranger things have happened.
Chet Casper and Brent Graver go back deep for Wabash. Bernie Haskins will kick off for the Tigers.
Brent Graver and Chet Casper will be deep for Wabash, and Bernie Haskins will kick. And the Little Giants will now be asked to really open it up here in the final 3 minutes if they're to erase this 14-point deficit. Haskins having trouble getting the ball to stay on the tee the way he wants it, and now all is in order.
Having some problems with the headsets on the DePauw sideline. The defensive backfield coach on the Wabash side, on the DePauw sideline.
Casper fields it at the 5. He's got some running room, still on his feet. Across the 30-yard line to the 32, and Wabash will take over 1st and 10. As you see that Evansville has fallen behind in the second quarter. Butler has scored, but still trails St. Joe in the second. Penn State opening it up a bit now on Purdue.
First and 10 Wabash at the 34-yard line.
But at this point in the game, Vince, I don't know if Coach Hill really needs the headset to be working on the sideline.
Out of the shotgun formation now, as Brandon Armstrong and the Little Giants have got to put it in the air. Surge with the reception, trying to get out of bounds, and he does. Picks up 7. Will bring up 2nd and 3.
A little bit of unity.
The different ranges of emotion that are being experienced on those sidelines. Armstrong again over the middle this time for Bowers. Incomplete, broken up by Seacrest. Bowers has taken a beating over the middle this afternoon.
We've seen this play a lot today from Bowers and Armstrong, but when you run it too much, this is what can happen. Seacrest almost comes down with it, and as he tips it, Bowers has a chance as he's going down.
3rd and 4. Armstrong, the pass is dropped by J.D. Flynn. Would have been enough for the first down there at midfield. Wabash has thrown the ball 9 straight times now as they're trying to come back from this 14-point deficit. They better have a good, strong laundry detergent.
They're going to need it.
The equipment manager's got his work cut out for him in getting those uniforms clean today. There's the pass over on the far side. This time, Flynn hauls it in for the reception and the first down. But the clock will continue to move once the chains advance. And Wabash forced to go with the no-huddle offense. The ball is placed and the clock starts. Just shy of midfield as Armstrong looks over the middle, and pass incomplete, intended for Bowers. Lost his footing. He's 2nd and 10.
Defense, keep him out there now.
Haskins, the quarterback, encouraging his defensive unit and enjoying a nice moment with the coach.
Don't mind it when the coach is happy.
That's the goal, isn't it?
Yeah.
From the 48 on 2nd down. Did Flynn bring it in? Nope, they say it bounced first. Trapped it. Would have been enough for the first down, but instead they'll mark it back at the 48, and it'll be 3rd and 10. See if you can see it bounce off the ground. J.D. Flynn, the intended receiver.
It's awful hard to tell from that angle.
More often than not, the replays indicate that the officials were right on the money, so we'll take their word for it. Over the middle and behind Bowers. Armstrong was being pressured that time, and he had to hurry up and get rid of it. The throw was behind Jamie Bowers. It'll bring up 4th and 10.
4th down and 10 for Wabash.
One more chance to pick up the first down. If DePauw holds here, that's the ball game.
DePauw's fans starting to creep ever closer to the sideline, preparing for that celebration stampede. Wabash must get a first down here. Armstrong scrambling. Got a man open, and he connects with J.D. Flynn still on his feet. Good enough for the first down and deeper into DePauw territory. But the clock will again continue to move once the first down chains are adjusted.
Armstrong does a great job there of buying time. He found it, he got outside the pocket, almost tripped up, but kept creeping ever so closely to the sideline until his receiver, J.D. Flynn, could come open.
29-yard pickup on the play, 1st and 10 from the 23. Armstrong, this one is deflected and incomplete. Clock stops, 1:47 to play. Oh, what a strange day it has been, Charles. This weather condition right now is what we were experiencing earlier this afternoon, and then just before game time we had a heavy snow as you look at Armstrong scramble on that previous play and hooking up with J.D. Flynn for the much-needed first down. To the end zone this time, and it's knocked down, incomplete. Trying to find Bowers, but there were nothing but black shirts around the intended receiver that time.
They are not going to let that pass come through. They're going to make sure that Bowers is covered underneath as well as over the top.
Third and 10, so another third down conversion needed for the Little Giants to keep their hopes alive. The 4-man pass rush. The pass is complete. Surge has the first down, still on his feet. Goal line, touchdown. Frank Surge scores for the 4th straight game.
And what you have to say for the Little Giants, they haven't given up. They score here, kick the extra point, go for the onside kick. And the snow is rolling back in as we speak.
Surge hobbling off. He came up lame on one of the previous receptions on that drive.
He got hurt earlier in the game, got kind of caught up, I think, in the first half, and it's affected him ever since then.
Matt Clark holds. Lubash kicks it through. And it's a 14-7 ball game. And now the Wabash cheering section comes back to life. Here's the replay and the touchdown pass to Surge.
Nice pass to Surge, but what he does here is so good. Breaking tackles. Look at this, Chris Stewart, his running back, picking up a nice block, enabling him to dive over for 6.
Nice job from Surge to split the defenders and then make the dive into the end zone. And here's Lubash with the PAT, knocking it through, doing his job. The drive took just 2 minutes and 36 seconds, but covered 78 plays, and it's the 23-yard strike from Armstrong. The catch and run by Frank Surge, his 8th TD of the season. The dream is still alive for the Wabash fans. Lubash out there doing a little footwork, trying to get the field. Trying to get a nice spot where he can set the tee and get this thing ready for the onside kick. Seems like it always comes down to special teams in the good rivalries.
That's why they call them special teams. They make the biggest difference.
A minute 32 to play. Wabash preparing to onside kick, and no one is surprised. Everybody knows what's coming. A minute 32 left, and Lubash making sure he has all in order. See a snowball just down out of the the stands. So Wabash, that's what happens when you play on the road. They go against everything. It gets the bounce they want. But DePauw covers it, and I believe that was Matt McPherson that got on it, 51. Charles, that bounced up just about the way they wanted it, but once you get the bounce, you've also got to get the cover.
You're going to see the ball bounces the way they want it to.
You always want the big hop, and right there it is.
Perfect timing on the hop. And then you see the guy that was there just get creamed. But McPherson does an excellent job of covering the ball up.
Wabash has 3 timeouts remaining, so they're going to be able to stop the clock and maybe get the football back here if they can hold DePauw without a first down. And here's the first timeout as David Schubert carries the football.
That's really been the key for DePauw. They've done an excellent job of running the ball. Picked up 5-6 yards on the first play. Wabash has to stop them in order to even have a chance at having 20-something seconds to get the ball.
You can see the snow has rolled back in, and although the flakes are not as big as they were earlier in the first half, it's just enough to make you pull up the collar on the coat, put the hat back on. The sights and sounds of college football. Second down and 5, 1:21 to play. DePauw trying to hold on to the football and run out the clock, leading 14-7. Wabash still with 2 timeouts remaining. But the Little Giants defense needs to make a big stand here. Mission accomplished on this first play. David Schubert carries it again, and Wabash spins its second timeout. 1 timeout remaining for the Little Giants. Charles, it's going to come down to this 3rd down play right here. If Wabash can keep DePauw from getting a first down.
They have to hold him here, Vince. With that last timeout, they use that last timeout and have a chance to do something.
Well, there's some Warriors up there. Our crew working the cameras and the team's camera people as well. Eric Sears, our cameraman there on the right, and Bob Wade was up there as well. Thanks to those guys for braving the elements. And we've also got Charles Figs way up there on the lift. You can better believe they're feeling the breeze up there this afternoon. And there's our ground cameraman, Otis Jones. Nice job, guys, down on the field and up top and in the truck today under some adverse conditions. This has not been an easy one for the technical folks this afternoon.
And look how the snow has just come in on the 3rd down play.
Experienced these similar conditions just before kickoff today, and by about halfway through the first quarter, the field was completely covered with snow. They had to bring the plows out at halftime to clear the field. But the snow has returned. 3rd down play. Haskins keeps it himself, and he goes nowhere. Chet Kraft was there to make sure that that play did not work again.
Excellent job of looking for the play that beat him last time for the touchdown and staying at home, making sure Haskins doesn't get outside, because he does a good job once he gets outside contained of picking up yardage.
Wabash has called another timeout with 1:09 to play. That would be the Little Giants' final timeout.
Isn't it amazing how much takes place within the 3-minute time period? The last few minutes have been unbelievable, the amount of things that have gone on.
What's at stake? Well, that 350-pound bell. Under heavy guard. And the fans have come out and braved the elements because of their attachment to their respective schools here that are participating in the oldest football rivalry in Indiana. Matt Holloway back to punt. Wabash wants to come get it, but they've got to make sure not rough the punter. They send some, and they'll leave others to block for Casper if he would choose to return. He lets it bounce out of bounds, and Wabash will take over 1st and 10 with 61 seconds left.
And what happens in college football when you pick up first downs, it's almost like a timeout for you because the clock stops until the chains reset. Actually, I thought they would have less time than this, so they're very fortunate with 1 minute and 1 second to march the ball down the field. The Paws come up big all day on defense. They need to do it right now.
Fans on both sides on their feet. You look at the numbers of Brandon Armstrong. He's going to have to put some more totals on the board if Wabash is to come back and make this one a close finish. Has a man over on the far sideline, stepping out of bounds was Chris Stewart. 11th reception of the season. Picked up 5. It'll be 2nd and 5, but a nice smart play. Gets out of bounds to stop the clock.
And very safe play, a swing pass where he catches the ball. If he can pick up more yards, he will. If not, he'll go out of bounds and stop the clock.
4 receivers in the formation. Stewart the lone back. He steps up to take on the linebacker. Bowers open over the middle, trying to get out of bounds. He can't get there. Brought down by Michael Lewis, so the clock is running. They'll stop the clock just long enough to move the chains because it is a 1st down.
And there you see Bowers fighting to get out of bounds, but Michael Lewis is having none of that.
They'll bring a dry football back onto the field as well. The ball marked at the 33. You see the time remaining in the game. Wabash needs a touchdown, an extra point to tie. Comes the blitz. Armstrong is going to be sacked. Wabash has got enough time for just another play or two if they can keep it complete. Bowers over the middle. He's hit and stopped, and the final seconds are ticking away. One last hope on 3rd down for Wabash. Up for grabs and knocked away. The game is over. And the stampede is on. DePauw has retained the Monon Bell. For the 2nd straight year, DePauw celebrates championship of Monon Bell. Let's go downstairs. Drew Benedict or Drew Powell, rather, with the winning coach.
All right, Coach Nick, this is your 103rd career victory. I don't know how many Monon Bells. How does this feel right now?
Oh, this feels great. I feel very happy for the players, especially the seniors. This is a senior bowl and a players bowl, and they've done a good job. They're the ones that earned the bell for the fans and the students and everyone to enjoy.
That's right. Now, talk a little bit about what it was that got you this victory.
Well, number one was the special teams, and we knew that we had to play in all three phases, offense, defense, and special teams. And special teams was the one that did it there in the beginning, gave us that 7-point lead. And I thought that would stand up because of the conditions, but we did score again, and they had an opportunity to come back also. We were hoping to maybe for a good shutout, but we'll take the victory.
All right, thanks a lot. Coach Nick on his 103rd career victory. Hey, they're going crazy down here. Back out to you guys.
Nice job, Drew. Drew Powell, our student reporter from DePauw, and also a nice effort from Scott Benedict, the student reporter from Wabash today. And we do want to just make a couple of thanks. Mike Moldy, the sports information director at Wabash, and Bill Wagner, the director of sports information at DePauw University. Thank you for all their efforts during the week to help make this broadcast a successful one. Charles, you've just been handed a couple of statistics, but first, I think the player of the game would have to be, he has a touchdown throw, an 8-yard toss to Tyler Kelly, and then a 19-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter.
He was the guy that had to make the plays today. The offensive line did a good job of protecting him and also stopping Wabash's vaunted defensive line. So Haskins comes through, has an excellent game in his last game in the Monon Bell.
The Wabash lone touchdown comes on a pass to Frank Surge from 23 yards out, but it wasn't enough as DePauw takes another step closer to evening up this historic series. Wabash now leads the all-time series 48 wins to DePauw's 47 wins with 9 ties. DePauw, for the second year in a row, winner of the Monon Bell. 14-7 the final score, and there's going to be a party tonight in Greencastle. For Charles Arbuckle, I'm Vince Welch. Thanks to our statistician Terry Moore and all the people that worked on this production out in the field and in the truck, battling the elements today in the Monon Bell, the 66th Monon Bell battle in the 104th meeting between Wabash and DePauw.
The 104th Monon Bell Classic is being brought to you by NBD. At NBD, we can do that. By the Indianapolis Association of Wabash Men. By Eastgate Chrysler Plymouth Jeep Eagle, just 500 North Shadeland. We'll do whatever it takes to make a deal with you, whatever it takes. By DePauw University, leadership for a new century. And by the Teachers Credit Union. Experience the reward of belonging with TCU.